And it's primarily because he doesn't use the same tool to mine as he does to attack with, so your durability on your tools is a little bit better.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but I'm not sure. I question it. It's definitely a great Steve stage and definitely something I wouldn't knock and tell you not to go to as a Steve player, but I feel like there are some stages where getting the extra metal is worth the trade-off.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that, but we can obviously assume it's good for Robin as a pseudo-zoner.
Oh, 100%.
This is going to be very interesting. That's all I got to say.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And Huggles not really getting the chance to even set up any kind of zone right here.
Yeah. Arcfire and recovery, though, a good way to get back on stage.
Oh, yeah. And I like the Arcfire to cover the minecart just in case. Definitely recognizes where Steve can and cannot minecart. Good roll to get himself back into neutral. All right. All right. Good coverage.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. I didn't expect that.
I did not expect them to kill that early.
But now we've got a slight advantage here. Let's see. We haven't had a lot of time to mine on Steve, so right now we're sitting on gold. And
just be barely off on that up smash right there. All right, but again.
Yeah, this is how the advantage grows, though. Is Steve holding you in disadvantage state while you're at a higher percentage, giving you, as Steve, giving you so much time to mine, but obviously taking the stock is better.
Oh, yeah. Not really too many places to land for Robin. Definitely not a great landing.
It's an interesting combo.
Oh, yeah. Getting the knots for some damage at low percent is interesting, but this is actually fairly back and forth. And Huggles doing a pretty good job. I'm shocked to see the Robin. You know, I was expecting the Link, but the Robin's definitely, wow, catches the jump right there. That was an interesting spacing of that.
Yeah, I'm surprised we're not seeing more spacing coming out from Merryachi on this Steve. Just choosing to deal with projectiles by blocking them off or creating a little bit more space for yourself seems like a really easy way to deal with Robin, because Robin will either have to use one of their aerials to break your blocks, or it doesn't matter because they're throwing you from the opposite side of FD.
Yeah, maybe a little bit questionable on the DI right there, but Huggles trying to get right back into it and just absolutely blowing up that percent. That low percent for Steve and making it 57 to 69 with a one-stock difference. I like the item throw, and this is kind of what I want to see more from Merry. Just keep him off stage, force him to burn those L wins, because eventually, you know, Robin's unfortunately one of the two characters that has a resource-dependent recovery. So you watch rinse and repeat, kind of similar to Bowser. You keep in that spot, and eventually they will crack.
Definitely, and with the diamond out, I mean, we're in kill percentage from the edge for a lot of moves. Fair, apparently from center stage. Whatever works. I mean, but having that diamond right now and having gold in the back pocket is going to be really good on this last stock. Not having to spend too much time mining since you have a little some resources in the bank. Doesn't even matter because the backer is too strong.
A nice movement there from Huggles, using these small micro spacing with beer reversing to actively bait out that anvil and to punish.
Absolutely. So we're going 1-up on Huggles. I always enjoy seeing a set start with Final Destination. You get a very interesting type of gameplay. You kind of figured that you know what you're getting into, but that game was a lot more back and forth, and it was a lot of up close quarters combat. We'll see what the stage adaptation is going into Game 2. I'm not sure if we're going to stick with the Steve or if we're going to see the K. Rool come back out again, but if we're looking at the Steve, PS2 is the place to go.
I believe Merryachi had a Ness. I'm not sure.
Oh, it was Ness, excuse me. Yeah, K. Rool was something else. Steve on PS2 obviously is a good choice, and I think we're just going to stick with it for now.
Yeah, I think it's a fine choice. I feel like really Huggles was, well, what do you think? I feel like Huggles was doing a good job of just cutting off the airspace, not really letting minecarts be too effective, but what kind of adaptations do you think need to happen for Merryachi to get back into this?
I think that you were right on the money when you said Huggles' micro movement was really good, and that was kind of the reason we were struggling to commentate last game, is just because there was a lot of like drift, micro movement, and aerial spacing that made it really difficult for Merryachi to do anything, and it was just kind of, it almost felt like fundamental gameplay, but it was very nuanced movement. So what we want to see is more of this, more building, causing disruptions, forcing Robin to jump up on your blocks, miss their arc fire onto the platform, just basically forcing them to use their projectiles in more creative ways, or forcing them to move in a way that isn't entirely up to them.
Right. And I'm inclined to agree. If we see a little bit, even just having them stand on them. Was that a minecart in the minecart?
Yeah, minecart in the minecart.
That was so fast. I did not know Steve could do that, but anyways.
Diamond on deck.
All right, already we see he still has plenty of materials to go, and this is the boon on PS2. You have so much iron and metal in general to mess around with that you can afford to miss a couple of anvils, you can afford to miss a couple of minecarts and use it to get back to stage and still have the resources available for neutral.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, absolutely blowing that up. You cannot block right there.
Yeah, that's not like PK Fire. You have to shield the entire
entirety of the move.
Yeah, can't.
Yeah, we can keep it simple around here. It's okay.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
All right, and first minecart of the set, I think that's actually landed, but not getting into the stock quite yet.
Yeah, so that's one of the things about Steve high-level gameplay that you see from players like Onan, that you see from players like Cola, is you have to play a little bit boring. You have to build and mine and build and mine and build and mine until you get the resources that you need to make yourself a competitor, and so that you even have stuff in the backbone for when you, or in the back pocket for when you lose your stock.
Right, because if you get caught off stage like in an exact position without any metal, it's a bad look.
Right.
You lose your landing option, you lose your ability to get stage back for free, but Merryachi going to find that forward smash right there, actually closing out the first stock.
Absolutely. It's just interesting that we're seeing a lot of unsafe mining. We're not seeing a lot of, I mean, we don't have a lot of resources to work with, I suppose, but we're not seeing a lot of building to create more space for yourself to mine. It seems like we're just seeing a lot of, what can I do with my current resources?
Right.
And, as noble as that is, and if you were to win with that, fantastic on you for being so resourceful. It's not the best way to set up your win condition.
Right. Steve definitely has much more potent tools to deal with it, and wow, none 11 order actually just going to close it out right there. Huggles doing a great job of calling out that minecart, and moving on into the next round, the next phase.